Yes. And I don't know who can answer this. Is there a certificate of occupancy issued, or do they have a temporary certificate of occupancy? And a question, I guess, to the planner, do they need one? And if they should have one, do they?
Regarding a certificate of occupancy, to be operating and open to the public, typically they should. In terms of what they're allowed to do in the meantime while they're working on a building, usually they won't have a certificate of occupancy because it's something that they're working on. So the specifics there, I would defer to the building inspector in terms of what they can and can't do with that occupancy permit. And I don't know if they have a certificate of occupancy or not.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Mr. Roman?
I'm assuming they don't, but a temporary certificate of occupancy could be issued. And at that point, possibly bonding on future work or whatever the case is. This has been, I drive past this place numerous times a day. I live nearby. I don't honestly see a lot of progress on the site, I'll be honest with you. I also see vehicles of yours for sale in the front, parking in the front. I just don't see a lot of progress. Doesn't it put the township at a liability for them to be there operating without a certificate of occupancy?
I would ask the building official in terms of what a landowner and an occupant can or can't do without a C of O in terms of, you know, what the responsibilities are. In terms of the progress being made, the applicants have so many days after approval of a site plan to get work done. In some cases, when construction takes longer, it's usually no big deal as long as they're working on it. You know, the certificate of occupancy, that's something that has to be determined.
That's my point exactly, Mr. Chair. We haven't gotten to an end result with a site plan. They're in there operating. There's liability to the township. There's no certificate of occupancy. I don't know how they're covering anything with insurance without a certificate. There's a lot of different issues, the township being one of the liabilities on this whole thing. Mm-hmm. That is the hammer to get something done, is to not be using the building or the site to get the end result. So I guess if Mr. Fink can't answer it, I guess it's a good question that should probably be answered sometime soon.
We could answer it if we wanted to just go downstairs real quick and figure out it.
There's not a C of O.
Does he have a temporary C of O? Huh? And we'd want to, let's double check that to see if it's in, yeah, let's just go, if you don't mind, Mary, if we can double check that in the records.
It'd be fine.
And you are correct, Mr. Roman, if he doesn't have a C of O. I've had actually a conversation with Mr. Weiland and on this very issue, on the C of O of this business, and if I speak wrong, you know, Mr. Weiland can correct me, but I do recall Mr. Weiland indicating, you know, that he was aware of it and he had the ability to be in that building because he could have just pulled a building permit. So,
yes,
Mr. Chair, to Mr. Fink, pulling a building permit and having a certificate of occupancy are not even close.
no, I understand that.
What we have is a business operating fully functional, no certificate of occupancy. There's liability to the township. You just said yourself, the building official's aware of it. I don't think it should continue. That's my opinion and my past experience. But the whole thing's a bomb waiting to go off. So that's my opinion. That's my conversation with it.
You know,